Nick on the PBD pod. Let's go.
From a person who's never spoken, you and I, just audience notes, how many times have you and I spoken?
0.
Have we ever DM'd each other?
Never, no.
Have we had a phone call with each other?
Never.
By the way, I think this is very important for the audience to know this. The guy paid for his own flight.
I'll tell you why he paid for his own flight. Do you know why he paid for his own flight? He's scared he's going to get set up and assassinated. I wouldn't want, if I felt my life was in danger, I wouldn't want anyone to know which airport I'm flying into, what time I'm flying in, or where I'm staying. I do that now. I'm not even on the level of Nick Fuentes. So it wasn't because he's such a nice guy and he didn't want your money. Maybe Nick Fuentes doesn't trust you, PBD.
Nick does have to operate like that, to be fair. I mean, he's had assassination attempts already.
I wouldn't trust anyone with my travel plans.
Even now at our level.
Even right now.
Yeah.
Let alone him. So it wasn't because he's a great guy, PBD. That's how he didn't want your money or the flight there.
Let do that. I actually respect that. That was your way of saying, hey, I don't want anybody to say this. I just came here. Whether it's because of safety reason, whatever, I respect all of it.
Oh, okay.
And I think the audience needs to do that.
All right.
Know that because they need to know.
All right. WPBD.
All I'm saying is,
I'll take the flight, though. And I'm
pump the brakes a little bit. And here's why.
You know, Vinny
Adam.
follows him.
Oh, Vinny?
Adam would never follow Vinny.
Adam, bro.
I love Vinny. Vinny's awesome, dude.
You know, Charlie, Nick is a Fed. All right. This person's CIA. All right. That kind of went away. Didn't have a long lifespan. It's gone. Hey, it's the Groypers that did it. You know, it's your creek. It was out of the 13 questions, 11 were Groypers, whatever the number was. I may be wrong. I don't want to, don't fact check me on what the numbers, but I read somewhere that a number of the people that asked the question were Groypers. Groypers asked me a question when I was at Amphis, when the guy got up and said, how come you've never had Nicholas J. Fuentes on? And I said, he's got to stop saying the N-word. And this is when you kind of came back and reacted to the video. How are you processing this with Charlie Kirk? I've seen the tweets, I've seen the videos, but how are you processing this?
Well, on a personal level, it's terrifying. You know, because he was out there and he got blown away doing what we all do, which is a public event or something like that. And of course, the same thing happened to me last year. Somebody came to my door with a gun while I was doing my show and tried to kill me. And so you realize we do really have a problem in the country with this kind of violence. That was kind of the first level. My first reaction is I didn't know if this was some lone nut job. Is there some kind of coordinated attack? If there would be copycats or something. But then on a deeper level, and people call me a hypocrite because I had complimentary things to say about Charlie, even though he was my adversary in politics. But I don't see it as a contradiction. I disagreed with him. I still disagree with the things he said. And my views on him from a professional point of view hasn't changed. What I have processed is the reaction to the killing from all of his fans and from people. You see that millions of people were touched by his activism. And I looked at his activism in a very one-dimensional way, which is that he's pro-Trump, he's pro-Republican, he's pushing the talking points. We would call it Talking Points USA. That was kind of the joke.
The USA Talking Points.
Right, Talking Points. You know, his job is to go out there and sell, you know, the party. But seeing the outpouring of support, I mean, I saw a lot of young people that were emotional. Young men, young women going to the vigils and actually distraught. And I think they were distraught, one, because it was so evil what was done to him. To see that kind of violence was really upsetting. But also I think people were touched because Charlie Kirk, it does put things in perspective when a person dies. I don't believe he was a bad man. I disagreed with him. I didn't like his politics. But what I have come to respect about him is that he was a very hard worker. He was kind. You noticed that when he talked to people he didn't like or disagreed with. He was open to other people. He changed his mind, even when he dealt with me. And he was never particularly nice to me, let's just say. But he was to a lot of people. And maybe more than anything, the thing that touched people the most was his testimony of his faith, that he believed in God. And, you know, I didn't like what he advocated for politics, but what he advocated for Christianity. That's the part that people are going to remember him for. That's the part that people, when they think Charlie Kirk, they don't think of the Republican debate bro. They think about a guy that was preaching marriage, values, you know, decent Christian values.
Yeah.
Christ
and
himself.
That's something that we both agree, even though the way he was attacking the same faith that we both love that teaches those values. He's literally alienating these people in a time where it would have been a great thing to see Charlie Kirk say, listen, we know there's some, you know, wars and things that have happened, but overall, these people are very conservative. They believe in the nuclear family. They don't believe in sex out of marriage. They don't believe in unaliving babies. They don't believe in same-sex marriage. We're on the same team as far as that. Catholics and Protestants killed each other. He's a Catholic.
Yeah, Beck, not only believing it, not only do we both believe it, Muslims were the ones actually practicing it.
Live by it.
Living by it. The Christians are the ones that got duped by the goy slop. They're the ones that fell for it.
So that's what makes me angry. And it's like, who does that benefit? So the truth of the matter is there could have been these beautiful dialogues. I would have loved to have sat down in this podcast with Nick and try to build these bridges and say, bro, we don't need to be enemies, dude. And we have not been the aggressor for the last 100 years. We're the ones getting slaughtered left and right. Millions of people dead. More from than anybody else. All this propaganda, all this bull. When we have a clip going viral right now. I wish we were living by the Bible. I'm down. Operate by the Bible. it's a Christian nation. No, it's not. You guys have separation of church and state. You don't have church and state, but you have pushing that kids should sleep with men. How the f*** is that Christian? How is that Christian?
It's not.
How is that Muslim? How is that anything? So you're not a Christian nation. You're a nation that's proud that you've taken the church out of the government. You've taken the church and God out of school. You brag about it on your dollar bill, Novus Ordo Seclorum. So it was no by accident that we became a secular society. But me as a Muslim, I would love to operate by the 10 Commandments, and the tendencies of God and marriage. This is not a Christian nation. There's nothing Christian about it. I'm wrong?
No.
There's nothing Christian about it.
Christ on the cross, he was Protestant, I'm Catholic. And when they held the memorial yesterday, I'm going to tell you the truth, I thought there were things about the memorial that were distasteful. But one thing that was exceptional about it is...
Was I wrong?
No.
The entire time we're watching it for the first time together, I just kept saying there's something I'm uneasy, man. Like this it seemed all orchestrated. It didn't seem like she was truly mourning, bro. Something very off. I said this, thank God it's on your video.
Like crocodile tears.
And I was trying to roll it back to be sensitive. Something was very off about the Kirk memorial service. I'm sorry, bro. Especially his wife. And when she did this shit at the end, bro, and with Trump and music and fireworks, and wearing white, and it was like a spectacle, bro. It wasn't about... I couldn't talk when I lost a family. It wasn't even the love of my life. We have kids together. We sleep together. Like someone so close to you as your spouse being executed in front of the whole world. I couldn't talk when I lost my uncle, bro. I tried to give I couldn't even talk. And I'm a great orator, right?
Yeah.
Shit, it just seemed very fake, man. I don't know. It seemed very fake. I'm sorry. People are getting mad for us. I guess I'm happy I'm not the only one that felt like this. The whole internet seems to feel like this.
Yeah, no, it's
except for people that are like diehard Kirk. Like they can't see there's something weird here.
It's rubbing like everyone wrong, bro. It's a gut feeling.
Way that the name of Christ was proclaimed to everybody. And I think that, when you see someone die like that, the reason it's jarring for people is because we realize that we're all going to die. Suddenly, unexpectedly. And like him, he's 31 years old. Nobody expects that a 31-year-old with that kind of money and influence is going to die all of a sudden. He had plans. He was going to get on his private jet and fly to do another event some other time. Nobody expects that you're going to die, someone like that at that age. And when you see someone like that cut down so viciously, you realize how life is so fragile and it's so temporary and it's so short. Any day we could all die. And what that then naturally makes us think about is, well, what does it all really mean then? If you could get stopped in your tracks at any time like that, what actually really matters in life? And what mattered about Charlie, when you see in the end, is it's not actually the times when he was maybe taking the piss and saying, what is a woman? It's the times when he was sincerely professing his faith, talking about moral virtues and the moral virtues that he lived in his deeds. And so to me, I guess it was a change in perspective, kind of realizing everybody asks the same question, how will I be remembered? When we get unexpectedly.
They're going to do highlights of you going, who's the real end? Who's the real end now?
Who's the realist?
There's only one real end.
Kind of live every day thinking, could today be the day? And what did I do on my final day? How did I act? Did I tell the truth? Was I courageous? Was I kind?
No, you still weren't kind. You haven't been kind. You've been very disrespectful to large groups of people. You are under propaganda yourself. Some of the stuff you say is true. A lot of it is coming from a place of hatred, and there's nothing Christian-like about your preaching either. And I'm not even a Christian. Nothing Christian-like about a lot of the things you say. So
I think it brought people to the center a little bit, centered in a spiritual sense.
Did you at all watch it yesterday where you had moments of sitting there saying, this was a good guy, man. Shit, I wish I would have changed the approach with our relationship. Did you at all have that moment?
I don't know that I would have changed my approach because politics is vicious, and that's just the game. He was vicious to us. We were vicious to him. But I do think that I harshly judged him. I think when anybody dies, you feel that way. And I think especially since he died, you look at him and you realize this guy was not actually the worst guy in the world. He was kind of my nemesis in a way. And maybe I was his on the right wing. But I realized that we had so much more in common than we disagreed with, actually.
So do you think when you hear the statement, let's find a way to lower the temperatures, do you in your mind say, shut up with this lowering the temperature bullshit. Stop it. Lower the temperature. Do you know what's going on? Do you hear that message now and say, maybe we got to lower the temperature? Hey, maybe if I got all these young guys that are following me, how Christ-like am I being? I had a call with somebody 2 days ago. I won't mention the name, but also very talented and capable. Very person I believe in tremendously as well. And we also, have had a challenge. But I said, listen, every time as I'm going through this, and I'm out there, I took my kids. Everyone's like, don't take your kids to, what do you call it? The Charlie's and I said, no, I'm taking my kids. I believe in God. I have faith. And if I move forward with fear, what a coward. I'm a leader. I'm a leader amongst leaders. We're going to go there. They sit there proud. We're good. Of course, we make the investment for security and all that stuff, but we got to go. We can't change our life dramatically where we're seen as being cowards, right? We're never going to do that. This is America. It's the greatest country in the world. I'm going to do my part. My life has changed because of God, Jesus, America. I am the luckiest human being alive. That is.
Why do they always say God and then Jesus? They always separate the two. You notice that?
I'm tired of talking about that. Next.
I know, bro. Whatever.
I feeling the vibe that I have, right? But when you hear the words, we got to lower the temperature, what's the first thing you think about?
I think it's kind of just a wrong perspective on it because, I'm an intense person and I think that this is a decisive moment for America. And, what really made me beside myself is not necessarily that someone killed Kirk, because there's a lot of crazy people out here that unfortunately do carry out acts of violence. It was that there were like 100,000 liberals who are in their right mind that were celebrating, that were glib about it, that crashed vigils, that danced, that laughed, that mocked it, that said it was a good thing, he deserved it. And you realize that it is a battle between good and evil. And I don't believe that when you're fighting evil, you lower the intensity. I think that we must very intensely fight evil because we have to win. If we lose, and by we, I mean decent people, they're going to hurt us and they're going to destroy the things that we care about. So for me, it's not necessarily about intensity. Temperature, I would say intensity. I think we should all fight for what we believe in intensely every day. I would change it and say it's really a question of love and hate. It was a hateful action to kill Charlie Kirk. It's a hateful action to celebrate. I think that we should be intense, but we should also move in love. And what that means is, I said this on my show, people kill each other with bullets and literally murder each other and take their lives. We also kill each other by destroying each other's reputations. When we lie about somebody, when we gossip about somebody, when you go and actually do the examen of conscience at confession at a Catholic church, and you go through all the different sins and you say, because you have to contemplate, you have to confess everything, every mortal sin, you have to confess all of it. So first you examine it systematically. Have I done this? Have I done that? And one of the violations of the commandment, thou shalt not kill, is gossip, detraction. It's attacking somebody with a lie, because that's a form of killing somebody in a certain sense. It's a form of damning somebody. And so I wouldn't say we need to lower the intensity, but we should always move in love. And by that, I don't mean some kind of like new age and move in love, very vague and non-specific. Totally. But I mean, we should want what's good for everybody. We should will the good for us and also even for our enemies too, and for the whole country. And so that's why I said my first reaction when I did my show, a lot of people said, well, we now got to go and kill two of theirs. They killed one of ours. Now we need to get violent. Now we got to go and pick up arms. How many's too many? I think there were, not anybody notable, but I think there were a lot of people that were thinking that.
On the conservative side?
I think so.
You think so?
I do.
Are you saying groypers, or you're saying like what part of that? Because are you saying groypers?
No, absolutely not.
You're saying just conservatives, period.
I'm saying, yeah, I think that, do you think that after people saw Charlie Kirk get murdered, there weren't at least some people that said,
there was.
We have to match the left?
Perfect.
Definitely.
I'm glad you brought that up. So,
and I think that was actually the real agenda with all this. I truly believe they are trying to make left and right go to war so they can bring down the entire country, install the UN to bring peace. I think a civil war has been in the works for a long time in this country, and I think we're very close to that. I think we're just a couple events away from something like that happening.
The way I look at it is it's like if you compared America to a pizza, and it's like how many times can you cut the pizza into different slices? So it's like, okay, one chop left and right. Another chop, so they do some horrible event, they blame a boogeyman, and then they use the media and all the influencers to put shit. That's another chop. Christians and Muslims. And then what else would it be? Pro-Israel, anti-Israel.
Poor and white.
Black and white. Poor and rich. And they just keep cutting that pizza with all these different events
straight.
as many different times as they can. And so every time you see one of these events come out, before it even gets leaked of who the actual shooter is, you should be anticipating what their intentions are. Who are they trying to divide in the first place? Understand the enemy, their perspective, and where they want you to go. As I said in Free America, use your brain. Why would I die for this? Who told me to think this? Why should I think this? So
reaction. And
I think that if Nick held those same exact standards, why do I believe this? Who told me to believe this? Why would I die for this? Then he would come to the conclusion that maybe some of the stuff he still believes isn't necessarily the truth.
Very initial reaction is vengeance, right? That's normal. Initial. But, that's the part where, there's certain people that will come say stuff about me. They say it all the time. You've got money from Mossad. We don't do sponsorship money here. We haven't taken sponsorship money for 2 years. The only thing we take is AdSense, and that's what YouTube does. We don't pick and choose what it is, right? But they'll say stuff like that.
He's not a great orator, man. I love PBD, but he's not the...
That's the stupidest point. It's like, bro, Mossad's not paying you for a 30-second ad segment. They'd be paying you to push a specific narrative. That's stupid, man.
Yeah.
What? You mean him?
Yeah.
I was just saying, I don't think he's like a great speaker.
I think he's a good speaker.
He's good. He's not...
Now, if you fight it, they're going to do more of it. So what are you going to do?
I think he's articulate.
Let me keep going. Nah, I'm good. I'm going to do your part. I'm gonna do. Maybe if I was in my 20s,
I just think that was a dumb point because it's like, oh, because you haven't seen a 30-second ad segment from Assad in our videos in the last 2 years. That means we haven't taken money.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
They wouldn't be wanting you to talk about it. Brother, I've worked in the crypto space. I low-key, like, when I run an NFT community and it's like a little cult and you're controlling a narrative, and if things are going bad, you're still putting up a good face on the front lines. I kind of understood what it's like to be like the people at the top running the world, but on a much smaller scale, if that makes sense.
To me, I also think there's a moment here, where we have a moment. I feel like within a conservative party, there's a lot of different gangs, okay? In a mob, if you go study the history of the mob with Lucky Luciano, when they created the commission, all these different families came together, right? It doesn't mean we're buddy. Hey, how you doing? You know, everything's good. That's not what that means. It just means, listen, at the end of the day, maybe the enemy isn't who we think the enemy is, okay? Maybe you and Charlie, 90%, I don't know, 80, 90%, you were on the same page. Is it worth us getting this nasty over the 10%? I don't know. I don't know. I feel we're at an era.
I mean, the only difference is one country.
Yeah, but when that 10% is, controlling our country and actively working to bring the Antichrist, I think it's a pretty important 10%, not gonna lie.
Right now, that I think all the voices matter. And I think, I don't know what your aspirations are long term. Do you have any aspirations to run for office one day?
Potentially.
Okay, potentially. Do you think Charlie was going to one day run for office?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I said that all the time. I think you probably have some plans of one day running. They showed me a clip when he said, I want 100,000 people that are making money, low-key, underground, nobody knows, where you're kind of breaking that down. Okay, great. So you want to run for office one day. Great. You have your own certain ideas, philosophies that you want to go. But I think that this next part, as we go through it, this is an MLK moment. This was the MLK of Republicans and conservatives.
No, this was not, bro.
And his wife called Nixon to get some help. They didn't call back, and then he called John F. Kennedy. She called, and then that's when they flipped. I'm going to be a Democrat, and then next year, and then you got Barry Goldwater, and the whole thing is a mess. African Americans were conservatives for many, many years, statistically. My question for you is, how is your approach going to change moving forward? Are you still planning on going all out, aggressive? Because you said love and hate, right? Are you still trying to go with that part? Like yesterday, Trump said something, I don't know if you caught it, you probably caught it, when he said, I hate my enemies. I hate my enemies. I don't know, Erica's probably going to come talk to me afterwards, change my mind. You got to love the guy that he talks like that, right? You guys got a little bit of that similar style of things that you guys do. But I do think deep down inside he's loved today. I do think he's loved today. What's going to change about your approach? Anything, or are you planning on being the same?
To be honest with you, I don't think there's much that needs to change. I mean, we all have a battle that we fight every day, I mean, like you said, your first reaction when you saw him go down was vengeance. And,
no question.
And especially when you do a live show, so many of the things I've said that I regret or are unfortunate things, it's things that you get whipped up talking about something you're passionate about, and out of anger, something like that, you take it too far, you say something careless. And so, to the extent that it's a reminder of our mortality, I always try every day to keep it truthful, and to make sure that it's coming from the right place. I don't think we should be emotional. I don't think anger, and I agree with you, the chart that you showed, we shouldn't want to be angry. We should want to be prudent, and we should want to be thoughtful, and we should want to act out of rationality as opposed to emotion. And so, to the extent that Charlie Kirk died, how it affected me, I'm going to try harder to move in that way. But I think I've been tending in that direction for a long time.
Did he inspire you? Was there anything about him that inspired you?
Yes. The one thing that he inspired me about, because I did not like him when he was alive, I'll be honest with you. The one thing that inspired me is this guy was a workhorse. And I respect that, because I have a hard time with discipline. I'm not the most disciplined person when it comes to hard work. And this guy was a beast. I mean, the stuff that he did, working morning to night, you got to think he did a 3-hour show every day, wrote books. Then he went home and managed Turning Point. Then he went and flew out and did 100 campus events. That's just like him and Trump. They have that Protestant work ethic. And I know you're a capitalist, you're a businessman. There's nothing I respect more.
Wait, you just say Trump has a Protestant work ethic?
People that build, people that work hard. That's noble. That's good. That's a virtue. So that was very inspirational to me. As a Catholic, I do believe there's a universal community of human beings that we all.
Then how am I a race traitor for accepting Islam?
Push play, bro. This kid, he just makes no sense.
Bro.
Look where you froze his face. Look at where you froze his face. Let me talk for you. On behalf of white people that you've attacked other people for following other religions, make sure you don't contradict yourself in this moment.
He said that me converting to Islam was like when a liberal girl goes to, Asia and converts to Hinduism. That's just how unknowledgeable these people are about Islam. Brother, we worship nothing but God.
He's taking faith from a political perspective.
Hindus have baby blue gods. Islam is simply the religion of submission to your creator. To even compare the two, they're not even in the same ballpark.
Push play, bro.
These people are so
We're all human in a fundamental way.
lost, man.
And although I do believe this is real, I also think we're all humans also. So I would say he's more racialist than me. And I also think that from an ideological point of view, from a professional point of view, I just do not support that type of activism. These provocative marches where they're not getting in people's faces, but it is intended to provoke. It is intended to be transgressive. And I don't know how much I like that.
He was also interesting to get to know, and he was very good in the way he communicated. His style is very different than yours. He's very, the way he speaks is more here. You're more animated. You have a very smooth style of delivering your message, but I actually wanted to know this guy to see what drove him. Your opinion of me. I'm Middle Eastern, married to a white girl, okay? I'm from Iran, Christian guy. Mom's a Christian, dad's a Christian. Mom was a communist, dad was an imperialist, went to Germany, refugee camp, came to the States. Do you think there should be more opportunities of guys like me to end up here? Or do you think it's better off for America, purely based on odds, to minimize more of me coming to America?
Well, I think that the most important thing to consider about immigration is it's just the volume. It's the numbers. I don't have a problem in principle with immigration at all. If we brought in 1 million, or maybe not 1 million, but if we brought in, let's say, 300,000 people every year that are like you, that are intelligent, that are productive, that are going to be generative, I don't necessarily have a problem with that in and of itself. The problem is that for 30 years, we bring in 2 or 3 million people per year. The foreign-born population has doubled. We brought in 50 to 60 million people since 1990. That's just too many people. And how I would distinguish it is that we're bringing in so many people that it's fundamentally altering what America is. You go to like Miami. Miami's like a Caribbean country. Like it doesn't even feel like America.
Miami is literally like South America. He's not wrong about that at all. Bro, the 3 years I was in Miami, I don't think I got one Uber driver that spoke English.
No, there's no one. Like even in the restaurants, very little, except for like the high name ones.
Yeah, bro, you'll actually go to restaurants and they'll speak Spanish to you before English.
Let them speak, papi. All them Latinas, bro. You lucky you got to live there, dude. Hey, papi.
It was more like Costa Rica or something. You go to New York, LA. It doesn't feel like what America used to be, what America is distinctly. And that's what I have a problem with, that pretty soon everywhere it's going to be so diverse, linguistically, ethnically, religiously, that you can't even say America is anything. Like the mayor of Minneapolis, he's doing advertisements in Somalian. What is that?
Yeah, they had the cop badge is now in Arabic. I don't know if you saw that or
yes.
not. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I think that's horrible.
What do you think about between the two?
I think that's wrong too. As a Muslim. Sorry, I think that's wrong. This is America, bro. English.
It's America. Speak American, goddammit.
And Jews. Which one concerns you more?
Jews, for sure.
Tell me why.
More powerful. They're more powerful.
So more powerful in a way, you're talking the fact that they have money, finance, Hollywood. Is that what you're
yeah, they have more position in American society.
And how do you think they got that?
I think they got it because they are extreme.
The Jews control these medias, and they push degenerate garbage that tries to make you trans.
The companies, the not-for-profits.
And if the Muslims controlled it, it would just be the most boring stuff in the world. There'd be no music. There'd be nothing.
There'd be no trannies dancing at school. Yeah. Like, the Muslims have no impact on Senate, Congress, nothing. Maybe very little, But you can't even compare the two who has more influence. Just Hollywood itself is enough.
Yeah.
Just the music industry is enough. Just the banking industry is enough. Just the insurance industry is enough. Just the lobbying is enough. And the internet websites, all of those put together.
Where you go like this.
Muslims don't own it, kid. Muslims don't control the algorithms. Muslims ain't lobbying your politicians, kid.
Connected. They're a transnational entity. This is how the Rothschilds got started. Their superpower is that they live everywhere.
This is where
and they
Patrick
have
Bet-David is going.
Jewish.
I hope I don't get kirked because of this interview. I hope I don't get kirked because of this interview. I hope I don't get kirked because of this interview. I hope I don't get kirked because of this interview.
Okay.
Power is that they live.
Oh my gosh, dude. Please.
A transnational entity. This is how the Rothschilds got started. Their superpower is that they live everywhere. And they have their Jewish identity supersedes their local identity. So a Jewish person in America
and they also blend in
Germany or
why are they all changing their last names, bro? Why are they all changing their last names?
That is the most suspicious shit in the world.
Shit. Why are you all changing your last names? I still carry my name, you know what I'm saying, that my ancestors gave me. I don't change it.
I would never even consider changing my last name unless I had something to hide. Jonah Hill, Mark Cuban, Benjamin Netanyahu. There's countless of them that change their last name.
I'm talking legally on paper.
It's very suspicious.
Yeah, why are you all changing your names for?
Talk to each other and work together.
Do you think that's a bad thing?
Not in and of itself. It is detrimental for America, though.
Is it detrimental though? Because I'm a Syrian, right? And I wish Assyrians were more like this. And let me tell you why I relate to them. We don't have a country. Assyrians used to have a country. We used to be the first warriors. We were written about in the Bible. You read it all over the place. The history.
Are you an ethno-religion where the rest of the world semen is like horse semen, according to your religion?
We had the things we invented, and then we became a little cocky. And God came in and was like, listen, man, relax, Assyrians. You ain't going to come and be the king of the jungle. It's me. And you hear the stories about that they built a tower to go all the way to the top because we are Assyrians, and then we failed. It's like, no, look at you now. No one knows who Assyrians are. You don't even have a country, right? We know the land in Iraq or wherever you are. You don't have it anymore. I think when a community becomes too cocky, the man upstairs is going to handle that himself, right? But in a sense, when you see they went from a small community to have this much influence, isn't that almost impossible for them to pull off? Like, isn't that?
Yeah, he's literally laying cover. Like, he's sitting here denying like they don't have extreme influence, bro. Like, we're talking on a radical level, bro. They control everything, dude. They really do. Like PBD. I'm sorry, bro. I don't even want to watch the rest of this. Finish this point.
This is one of two things. I'm not intimidated. I'm not a guy that is envious or jealous or, oh my God, that
I admire
me.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, you got to give that some props, bro. What they're able to pull off. Like, you got to give them respect, bro. You got to give them respect.
Yeah, no.
12 million people to do what they've done.
Well, yeah, and there's 2 billion Muslims.
And have the amount of influence they've had.
Muslims can't even do business together. It's a joke.
Yeah, Muslims are.
It's a complete joke. But the problem,
Muslims, you should learn from the Jews.
Yeah, but the problem I have with that is when you make most of your wealth off of subverting people and capitalizing off of people's, sins, basically.
Lust.
Gambling, alcohol, lust.
I still can't get over that a rabbi owns that website, bro. I could not believe a guy is willing to go on this very show. On this show, I'm a rabbi, and like, what are you saying about your religion, bro? What are you saying about your people? Pushing this filth that we know by now, the studies are out, what it does to everybody. There's like not a superstition, like this shit destroys marriage, destroys society, turns men into bitches.
Yeah, but it's not even just that. Dude, I quit porn around 1.5 years ago, and towards the end of quitting it, when you would go onto the website, it would be three buttons that pop up: straight, gay, and trans. Anyone that runs a funnel understands that if 99% of your audience is going to be straight, you don't make 1/3 of the buttons what appeals to them. That doesn't make sense from a funnel perspective. Subliminal. It's subliminal. It's a subliminal tool to try to make you gay and trans, and they don't hide it.
And they probably even slide some of those videos into the straight section.
They do. Oh. You'd click straight, and then you'd see a girl with boobs and a thing like this.
Not by accident, by design. So these websites should be made illegal.
If you're still watching that stuff, brother, it's psychological warfare. It's not only is it destroying your soul, but
spiritual warfare.
They're trying to,
destroy you.
They're literally trying to destroy you. They have ulterior motives.
You won't be happy in marriage.
You goof.
You're gonna cheat.
And then Rabbi Shmuley.
You ain't gonna get it up.
Shut up. And then shut up. Love you, Unc. I'm sorry, man. And then you got Rabbi Shmuley out here who's selling dildos with his daughter. Big black ones. Make it make sense.
You got neighbors.
Sorry.
This guy's, I'm not. I want to see what they did and what worked for them. For example, to me, when I think about Jews, I think about Mormons, I think about Scientologists. I used to have an office where half the office was all Scientology, and I learned all these phrases, assist, or, I went to their church and I saw Dianetics and L. Ron Hubbard and what he would say when you get a headache, you do this, and all these weird extras. I'm like, wow, interesting. How much money? We give $200,000. Why'd you give that? But let me tell you, those guys that were in, they had each other's back. It was a fraternity that you wish family members were like this, right? I think Scientologists have it maybe more than Jews. So I think Jews will bite each other a little bit, not as much. And then Mormons have each other's back. Of course, there's a fallout out as well where people come out and they'll talk about God makers or, what Gordon B. Hinckley, and I've read all of that stuff from over the years. But what's wrong with them winning at the highest level?
Well, I agree with you that it is remarkable, and it is actually ominous how much they've achieved. Here's the problem, though. America is an open society. The premise of this country is it's self-government, of, by, for the people. There's a egalitarian idea that we are all citizens, and our government is going to be comprised of the citizenry.
Freedom of religion.
That's deeply embedded in who we are and in our government and our whole system. And take me, for example, I'm Italian, Mexican, and Irish. The Italians were very much like this when they immigrated to America. They had in Chicago what they called the outfit, which was the mafia, and they looked out for each other. And when my grandfather died on my mom's side, I believe my grandmother got a loan from the outfit. And they would come by every month or whatever, and they'd bring a fruit basket, and they'd look after her, and they provided financially.
Was it Spilatra's group? Do you know the history of it, or was it?
I don't know who it was specifically.
Okay, got it.
But so these are some of the stories I would hear growing up from my mom and my grandmother.
So think about, at that time, how many people were against Italians? At that time, how many people didn't like Italians in New York? Because do you know Bank of America was first called Bank of Italy? Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
So can you pull up, Rob?
I know that because I worked for that. Was my first job out of college.
Bank of Italy.
Bank of America?
I worked at Bank of America for 6 months.
If I'm wrong,
I walked out and said, "F you guys." They were paying me pennies.
It is what it is. I think Bank of America was originally Bank of Italy, and everybody used to. Yes, the Bank of America was originally founded in 1904 to an Italian American in San Francisco and the financial needs of Italian immigrants and other underserved people. The bank eventually merged with another institution to form Bank of America and changed its name to Bank of America. Right? The tellers were Italians. They would give small little loans, $10, $4, $5 to them, and some people were not supportive of that. They're like, "What are Italian immigrants doing here? You guys are becoming too much power in New York. We're not happy about this." So there was some of that going on. 100 years ago.
And that's what I'm saying is that did exist. And then what happened eventually is that Italians assimilated. Eventually, these groups, these ethnic advocacy groups, were broken up, if you could call the outfit that, or the mob of New York, and then Italians assimilated. And when I grew up, I saw my...
Yep, now our culture is watered down. What's our culture now? Frankie Valley? Eating pork and drinking wine?
There's nothing about you guys. Maybe the sausages you eat and the flour you bring in. There's very few. But shout out to like Big Joe Gambino and these guys that can actually still speak Italian. I feel like you're no longer what you are when you can't speak it anymore.
Yeah.
You no longer are what you are when you cannot speak the language anymore. I don't care what you've melted. You're done. You might like cannolis and pizza, but that doesn't make you Italian, in my opinion.
This is where shit's looking getting good. A few more minutes. We can break this up into two, by the way. So we're making the most out of it.
Self as American. I didn't see myself as Italian American. I just saw myself as American. And I think that, when you see Jewish people working together, I don't think there's anything wrong with that inherently. And I agree with you. It's like a superpower. It's actually admirable in some ways. They look out for each other. But if society becomes, American society in particular, a place where every group is ganging up, well, we're the whites, we're the blacks, we're the Jews, then I think what America is starts to come apart, and it turns into kind of like a bit of a politicized race war. And I think that you either have to have a society where everybody gets to play by those rules and everybody could be pro what they are, or everybody is assimilated and we're all Americans. And that's why I say it's detrimental, is that if Jewish people are Jewish first, not of, by, and for America, but of, by, and for the Jewish nation, this is problematic when they're in positions of power, because are they looking out for all of us? Or are they looking out for themselves first? When you look at the Israel policy, that's where people start to say, I think you're looking out for yourselves first. I think you're biased. And you're using the public purse and American soldiers to fight your own battles. And that's the problem. It's not, I don't
That's
have
it in a nutshell.
them.
He just hit it right on the head. That's what everyone's pissed about. It's not because we hate Jews and we don't like them and we got our own problems right now. We're tired of this 30 years of nonstop war. We know it benefits your country more than anything. You're silencing us when we're supposed to have the First Amendment right. You're blocking us. You're censoring us. You're passing laws that we can lose our passport for criticizing Israel, really? And right there, that to me is a greater threat. So in that capacity, I would actually support someone like him for office than someone else, even though I think he's radical, even against my own faith. But as an American, I think this is probably the most important voting issue ever, what he just said right there. So if he actually ran, I would vote for him just based on what he said.
As would I.
No one should have dominance in American politics, not even Muslims. No one.
If I just knew Nick would maintain freedom of religion, which I don't have 100% confidence in, 100%, I would definitely vote for him.
Problem with them and themselves, or even what they do. It's just that with our system, that doesn't work.
You know what I would say to that as well? When, if they use the American soldiers in their advantage and all that other stuff.
They did.
Okay. Who negotiated that deal? Some president negotiated that deal. Someone said yes to it, right? When they say, well...
You know what else is scary about Trump being in office compared to if it was Kamala? Is that because it's Trump, when he's doing all this stuff with Israel and making all these terrible decisions, people assume it's Trump. But if it was Kamala doing these same things, people would be questioning who's actually running and making these decisions.
Exactly.
Because it's not Trump at the end of the day making all these calls, bro.
No, it's not.
It's the same people that would have been telling Kamala what to do if she ran. It just would have been more obvious that it was the people behind the scenes if Kamala was in office.
Like Kissinger. What was Kissinger, bro? He ran foreign policy for America forever. Henry Kissinger. That's not even his real name, probably.
Tell you,
what, the shaitan?
That person is afraid to platform this guy because he's afraid his donors are going to go and do this. And it's Israel's fault. No, it's not. It's the guy who runs it's not Israel's fault. What are you talking about? This guy sends me a message. AIPAC. I got a text, not a text. What do you call it in the X? A DM I get from AIPAC. Okay. Hey, we'd like you to come to Israel. We'd like to invite you. I'm sure many people get that message, right?
I told you I got that invite too, right?
Oh, damn. They hate me, man. I can't get a free vacation, dude.
I didn't get it from them.
My family's on the wall of the righteous, bro. Can I get a free trip?
Send it. I said, I'm going to come with my pastor, I don't want you to pay for it. I'm going to pay for it. I want to bring my crew because I want to go see Jerusalem. You're not going to see me putting the what do they call it?
You're going to see he steps that plane.
But guess what?
If he steps off that plane, you're going to see Patrick Bedard.
You're going to see him like this. You're going to see him like this.
100% if he takes that trip. There's no way he's not. They're going to be like this. You're going to put your hand
like this.
You're going to put that hand on the wall, you mother. But yeah, why is it that none of their leaders go to the Vatican or go to the Protestant? Get Mecca. But why don't some of their leaders, like why don't the leaders of Israel go to the places where Jewish, where Christian atrocities happened? How about after they do the Wailing Wall, you take them to the Holy Church of the Sepulchre, right? The Holy Sepulchre.
What is that?
It's one of the most holy places. How were you ever a Christian, dude?
I'm asking so you explain the context to the viewer, bro. Damn.
They should, if it's Judeo-Christian, how come none of these Christian leaders ever take the Jewish leaders to the Christian sites to say a prayer? And ask yourselves that. That's all you need to know.
To Gaza, and I would ask for some idea of protection that if we can go to Gaza, show it to her. I want to see this stuff. I want to go with my pastor. First time around, I'm not going to take my kids. Maybe the second, third time I'll take my kids. But to me, I don't put the onus on, like when the guy's like, that guy has slept with so many people, this, and the girl said yes. No, but you don't understand. He's a man whore. But the girl said yes. So is it Israel or is it the girl? You understand what point I'm trying to make here?
Absolutely.
So to me, it's kind of like, look, if you said Israel over Muslims, right? Mm-hmm. Which of the two do you think has been a bigger net positive to America?
Oh, well, it has to be Israel, absolutely.
Okay, so a part about that part.
But, in terms of, I wouldn't say net positive.
So the Muslims.
So he's like, I just went against what I usually preach. Shit.
So the Muslims being the first one to open up a port to America and recognize America as a nation, that isn't more influential. I'll never hear any of them mention that. He just
jumped off a ledge and now he's trying to climb back up. Hang on, let's just see what he says here.
I would say in terms of raw, maybe like gross positive, because they've had a lot of contributions culturally and even, in terms of art, literature, music, also scientifically. But it's difficult to say on that because I also think that there's quite a bit of a detriment. I think that the melting pot comes from the Jewish community.
They own the companies. Thank you.
The idea of the melting pot, that comes from a Jewish playwright, because Jewish...
Look at his face, bro.
He's like...
Look at his face.
He goes, I hope I don't get kirked. I hope I don't get kirked. I hope they don't kirk me. We got to wrap this up, bro. I got to go. It's an hour and a half in already. Let's go.
Bro, this is content.
I know, but I have to do, bro.
This is content.
We started late today. Let's go.
Every
day we start...
Because Jewish people come to America, and like all immigrants, they say, well, we want America to be more welcoming. So they start to spin up these ideas that, well, America was never this country of white Christians. It's always been a melting pot for all immigrants. They want the country to be more open because that makes it more comfortable for them. It makes it more tolerant for them. But this has also made us more open and tolerant for Muslims, for example. We're bringing, who's been the biggest driver of like the Hart 65 Immigration Act? It was like the SPLC, which is run by Jewish lawyers. And so they're major drivers of mass migration. They're also major drivers of the pro-Israel politics, like the Iraq War. It was many Jewish journalists and pundits and advocates.
Sure.
So a point being is like when you calculate on net, and I agree with you, like I think there are a lot of people that are critical of Israel that are reluctant to acknowledge the good that Jews do. And I think that Jews they're brilliant. Many of them are brilliant.
So what I'm saying net positive, I'm talking jobs, economy, how often you hear about crime, what they do. Like if you have a choice between living in a city in Minnesota, Dearborn, and living in, I don't know what's the biggest.
Well, that's the thing. When they do crime, it's not a Jewish person anymore. It's a white person. It's like they can flip-flop.
Or they just use, jets, military.
They just dip. Or
I guess war crimes don't count.
Or they send a text to their uncle. Yeah, don't post this story. Thank you very much.
I guess war crimes don't count.
Boca Raton, let's just say, right? If you have a choice between raising your family, between Dearborn and Boca Raton, where do you choose?
Boca Raton,
okay,
of course,
so the point is like they go to a place. And by the way, to me, if that was Muslims, guess what? I would say Muslims. Mm-hmm. But statistically, wherever they live, it's safer, things are nicer, things get better.
I agree.
And that is one part to measure where they're at. Now, do I see them overly aggressive? Do I see them the type that are going to use politicians and buy them like Marjorie Taylor Greene and other people are saying? 100%. Do I see them, they're going to be there in everyone's DM and email saying, hey, we'd love to support you. We'd love to bring you to Israel and, doing all that stuff? It's obvious. I'm seeing it myself. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So he's
do I look at that and shame them and say,
how they try to go after influencers? I wonder if any Muslim governments have ever made him those types of offers. I bet you not.
Definitely not.
I look at that and I say, no, I wish Armenians would do that. I've never gotten an invitation from Prime Minister of Armenia. He should probably send me an invite to go there, right? It's not a bad idea to come and show the country.
I bet you that happens. I'm a Syrian. I bet you within a month, he's going to have an official visit to Armenia. I'll bet my life on it.
You don't see that. You wish others would do that. So for me, as much as when I go into that, by the way, I'll give you one other side that, Israel's going to be like, yeah. This other side to me is I actually do believe they leverage Mossad to get intel. I actually do believe they use blackmail. I actually do believe they do that. So, there's nothing going on with Epstein. No. Michael Wolff did a podcast.
Patrick Bet-David for finally clarifying his position. He actually had the balls to say it, bro. He's not compromised.
Was at Epstein's house, the 100 hours of recording that he has with him. I said, how many times was Ehud Barakar there? Am I saying his name correctly?
Say it. I'm not supposed to say it, PBD. Say I'm not feeling. Say it, PBD. Say you're not feeling, like you want to take out yourself. Say it so we can have it on record, PBD.
Why would the former prime minister visit the guy 30-something times? Just because the conversation's great?
Yeah, that's weird.
A little bit suspect, right?
He looks like a child.
I'll go there, but I'll go the other end. So what I'm trying to do, like if you're wondering what my role is here, okay?
Until they
My
stop
role
you.
is I want to continue talking to you.
Until they stop you.
I want us to do many of these together as we go through whatever journey we go through in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And I'd like you to be around 60 years from now to see whatever you want to do. And let's see what your ideas are going to land and what they're going to go through. I'm sure as we all age, some of them get better, some of them get sharper. Maybe this used to be number 1 to us at 26. Maybe it's going to be number 6 when we're 46. Maybe this used to be number 11 when we're 26. Now it's number 2 when we're 52. Who knows? Life changes. You evolve, right? You're just watching Trump in the last 10 years change. He's not the same. Just the way he does his speaking. I was watching him speak yesterday and the way he's doing press conference. A very different guy on where he's at. And it's not like he's tired and he's not working. You said him and Charlie Kirk do a Protestant, workers thing that they have. It's not that. I just see his going through it himself. I would like people on both sides.
I gotta say, enough of this.
It was a good conversation.
This is way better with just PBD than with Adam Zosnick.
Yeah, he would have came at him harder.
Bro, he's such a...
Well, if you notice, PBD always does the big guest completely by himself. When he doesn't have a big guest, that's when he goes to a panel.
He had Adam Zosnick for the Big Tate interview when he got out of jail.
So wanted him to attack him or something. Who knows? In any event...
Or when he got banned.
The conversation was a good conversation. W for Patrick Bet-David. Definitely a W for Nick also. I feel like we're able to communicate and show that, we're kind of being forced to be extreme just with the way everything's being spun around. I don't think someone like Nick Fuentes should be assassinated or Charlie Kirk or PBD or me or you. I think people need to come to the table. There are a lot of sick people out there, and we're not going to fix anything by allowing violence to destroy and rip everything down. So I find this broadcast to be a W.
Honestly, really nice to see such a civil conversation.
It was a good conversation. I think it was very beneficial to Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
To reach a different audience and maybe clarify some of his positions and show people that he's not a psychopath, maybe. I think it helped him a little bit, soften his public image. I would have expected PBD to go harder on him, but I guess maybe he didn't. He just wanted him to say, who are you, basically. I guess he's saying he didn't really know there's no way you could be PBD and not know who Nick Fuentes was and where he stands, bro. So I felt like it was very watered down. It was him, realizing how many people are going to watch this. You're already 3 hours, 400,000 people have seen it already. It
makes sense that it's watered down too, though. Like when you're in your room alone, just you and a camera, it's a whole different vibe.
I do it here. When we react, I go crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
I just, bang, bang, bang. I'm like, I didn't say it like that, but there's no script here, bro. There's no script. There's no teleprompter. There's no... Let me get in front of the crowd and cry now. And
you're just writing a full essay off the top of your head. Think about how many times when you're writing something on a keyboard, on a Google Doc, and you have to go back and delete that. And you're sitting there and you have time to think about what you want to write, and you still write some stupid shit, let alone 3 hours straight of talking to a camera off the top of your head. It's a whole different ballgame. W Broadcast, thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a comment if you want more. That's it from us. Peace.